Hey, it's time for our Mohawk movie review, and Dana Han-Klein is hanging out with us right now. And you know why we call it that? It's because she has the most beautiful Mohawk of all time. I mean, I admire it. I have no hair, but I love it. So we decided the best way to rate movies was 0 for the worst, 5 for the best, and she knows her movies. So what do you have for us this week, Dana?
So I have Office Christmas Party, which is a pretty standard fare R-rated comedy. I assume you're not going to go see this movie expecting a lot of substance unless that is a white powdery substance, which is abundant in this. It stars like Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, Olivia Munn, TJ Miller, Kate McKinnon, and Courtney Vance of all people. I would explain the conceit of the movie, but why bother? Just get it from the trailers. It's a funny, silly, complete opposite of Oscar season film. I love real life holiday parties. Like, I've always had a great time at them. They're always like weird. And I don't think I've had a bad time at a holiday party. Like, I've never been to one of those like stodgy office parties.
Not like Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places?
No, not like that. But so I've never been to one to the level of this film. And I feel like that's a new life goal, but also not. But yeah, so it was pretty wild. TJ Miller plays like the head of a branch of a company. Jennifer Aniston's his sister. And I love TJ Miller. Silicon Valley is one of my favorite shows, and you can guess why. But he's a version of his character from that show, but he's much more relatable here, which is really nice to see. The show stealer, as always, was Kate McKinnon. She plays like the HR rep, and I adore her and everything she does. She's super weird, super funny. I love seeing her on screen. The movie's full of these weird, like, bizarre moments. There's obviously sort of not the fratty, but the very like broad, physical, like drug, party, sex, comedy stuff. But there are like some weird one-liners that I really laughed at a lot, and I feel like not everyone in the audience was laughing at the same things, which is fine, right? Because that means you're appealing to a broader audience. Again, this movie isn't anything special, but it was kind of a nice palate cleanser because a lot of like the tear-jerker, sad, like Oscar, oh, give me an Oscar, like break your heart films are coming out right now. And this was just like, no, this is good, dumb fun, which I really enjoyed. So, if you want to kind of maybe a break from everything, if you want to laugh through your hangover, like, after your actual Christmas party, like this isn't a bad way to do it. I'm going to give it 3.5.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, for what it is, like, it's weird because when I think about these ratings, I'm like, all right, well, what standard am I holding this to? A 3.5 for this is fine. If I gave, another movie a 3.5, I'd be like, oh, no, let's not see that. Yeah. But I think for this, and I do hold comedy to a high standard, so there are ones I'm sure that will get a 5 someday, but we haven't seen any of those this year yet. But again, fun, funny, I wasn't, like, bored by it. I feel like that's a good sign. It was a good, fun movie. It accomplished its goal.
I would have given Little Miss Sunshine a 5 just because I love that.
Right, that's the thing, right? So that's like a comedy drama, where it's trying to be. It had a goal and it tried to achieve it. This movie had a goal, tried to achieve it. I think did it successfully. You laugh. You're not gonna cry because you don't want to cry during it.
Yeah.
You might not relate to all the humor, but again, I think you'll enjoy it.
Cool. Yeah. That sounds great. And what else do you have for us today, Dana?
So this is like polar opposite direction of Office Christmas Party. This is Miss Sloane. It's starring Jessica Chastain as a DC lobbyist. I saw this like a month ago, and I saw this the day after the election. So you can imagine I was not in a great mood. It's, I think the last thing at the time I wanted to see was a movie about like a political thriller, mystery type thing. I was like, why do I have to see this today? No, I loved it. But I loved it at the time. And now I'm a little worried that it's like not as relevant, right? Because I actually said this to the director who was in town. I was like, I wish this movie had come out before the election. Yeah. Like, I really wish people had seen this because you want to talk about horrifying. Like, I knew nothing. You all hear about DC lobbyists and you're like, yes, vague mystery, scary cloaked figures. Yeah, terrifying because you say they did a ton of research on this film. Like, the DC lobby is super scary to me now. And I'm like, I really wish people had seen this before. Maybe it would have changed some minds. Maybe it wouldn't have, but it's one of those things where now I feel like it's almost going to be a little bit hurt by this. And like, I'm so tired of seeing political stuff right now just because I'm so like emotionally exhausted.
Yes.
And I feel like other people are going to be that too. But her performance, Jessica Chastain is so good in this. And I feel like the film itself is getting sort of a little flack for it's not timeliness anymore, but her performance is really good. She's this cold, scary, take no prisoners, kind of ball-busting female DC lobbyist. And I don't want to go into the plot because it was really good. And I see so many movies. And so when a plot surprises me, it's where they like lay the groundwork and like you follow the mystery along. I love that. It's like twists and turns. I was like, this is great. She's always one step ahead of you.
All the best movies and TV shows have that kind of thing going on.
Right. It's like it requires a lot of thought. It requires trusting your audience to pick up on the pieces that are going to pay off in the end. And the payoff in the end of this, I was like, yeah, there were only a couple of people since it was a press screening, but I just wanted to leap out of my seat and be like, yay!
It's the reveal. That's the kind of thing that's great.
Exactly.
And those twists and turns getting there. I love that. And I love Jessica, by the way. She's awesome.
Right. The whole cast in this thing is amazing. And I want to give a shout out to GuGu Mbatha-Raw. She was in Belle and she was in Concussion, and she's going to be in A Wrinkle in Time, of all things. She plays this, it's more like the warm sort of counter to that. She's an idealistic lobbyist for fighting for something she really believes in. You feel like Jessica Chastain is fighting it because she loves the fight. And Gugu's character is more about hey, this is actually an issue that's you're the underdog here. You're the one who cares about something in DC, which is such a tough position to be in. So I think this film is definitely worth seeing just for the performances alone. I thought the plot was great. Go in prepared. No, it's going to be all about politics, and it might stir up some feelings that you don't want to keep feeling, but we're going to have to keep feeling them. So I'm going to give it 3.7.
Okay. Well, listen, that sounds cool to me. I'm going to have to see both. All right, well, Dana, thank you for coming by. Great to have you here for the Mohawk Movie Review, and we'll see you next week here. Mornings on KFOG.